Oh my god, let me think of my intro. I was about just to get into it. I think we can just do that, whatever. So, a lot of people say be kind, do good, but they don't actually explain why. This will differ based on your beliefs, whether you do good simply because you are a good person or you have a religion to guide you. And for this video, I'll be talking mainly from a Buddhist perspective. I might make another video that is more from a spiritual standpoint, but we'll see. So, for context, right, Buddhism elaborated a lot on compassion, karma, which is basically cause and effect, not harming and killing all sentient beings. We believe in reincarnation as well, and that there are 6 realms in Buddhism: gods, demigods, humans, animals, hungry ghosts, and hell. Literal hells. So, I'm going to elaborate more about karma. So, contrary to popular belief, karma isn't punishment. Karma is you meeting your past actions again. If you have done something good, you will get good karma, and likewise on the contrary. If you have done something bad, you will get bad karma. It's really like you reap what you sow. So every action that you do, right, whether it's mental, verbal, physical, or whatever, you're basically planting a seed for your future. The results may not be immediate, but it could be later on in this lifetime or even in future lifetimes. Or in fact, right, the life that you are living now could be a result of your past actions and karma. And once you understand that, you'll see why it's so important to consciously do good. And so I'm going to share why doing good can reduce suffering in the mental aspect. Okay? Like that. Every time you do something wholesome, like being honest, generous, patient, you're training your mind, okay? So your mind becomes softer, more compassionate, more empathetic, and a mind like that simply suffers less. Because if you realize, right, most of our suffering isn't physical, it's mental. And it's because of things like anger, jealousy, comparison, insecurity, and greed, and yeah, many other things. So when you do good and you wish well for people, you weaken these negative emotions, but our brain requires practice and repetition to form new neural pathways or something. And the more good you do, the more your brain changes for the better, and ultimately your life will change for the better. Just remember that everyone in this world wants to reduce their suffering and also lead a good life. They may just end up doing different things to reach that goal, whether it's right or wrong. So don't hate other people for doing something that you would never think of doing. Learn to be compassionate, give them a mental prayer and some well wishes. And for example, right, when you see an old lady climbing up the stairs, for example, right, you know what, I need to do this again. And for example, right, when you help someone, helping an old lady climb up the stairs or donating to charities or the homeless, your mind opens and you feel lighter, right? And when you stop gossiping, you stop feeling anger, resentment, and insecurity. And I think meditation is actually a good practice to know why you're doing certain actions. Is there a deep-rooted emotion that you are subconsciously feeling? Like when you gossip about people, right, usually it's because you want to feel better than a person sometimes, and know that some people's lives are worse off than yours. So it's not really a good thing per se, but you can try meditation to help you see what you're actually feeling, and from there you can work it out. So when you practice patience and mindfulness, life stops feeling like a survival game with lots of anxiety, and you realize that it's really best to live in the present. And you realize that when you do harmful things like lying, stealing, hurting people, you feel anxious, you feel guilty, and you feel like a mess inside, like your brain is just going haywire. And all of these can actually eat you alive. Good actions clean your mind the same way a shower cleans your body. So karma is not just what happens to you. If you have a peaceful mind, that is also your good karma ripening. That's why you see some really rich people who seem to be living the best lives, having mental issues or feeling on the edge, and they may even take drugs or prescription to survive. They might have had the good karma to be rich, but also the bad karma that led to their unstable mental thoughts. So basically, don't underestimate a peace of mind. It's so much more than what money can offer you. Why else do we see some villagers or farmers living a very happy and fulfilling life despite not having riches like the people in cities? I remember watching this TED talk, and if I remember correctly, this guy went from a rural area to a city to study, a chance to make more money and to live a better life for future generations. But he realized that having a better life is subjective, and so he quit his university to go back to his hometown because it gave him more time, more peace, and more happiness. So yes, just because everyone is doing something doesn't mean it's what will make you happy. I will link this TED Talk in the description because I think it's a good watch. Next, what happens when you do bad things? So according to this sutra, if you kill, it will lead to misfortune and a short lifespan. If you steal and rob, this will lead to poverty and horrible suffering. To those who engage in sexual misconduct, they will be reborn as peacocks, pigeons, and mandarin ducks. If one uses harsh speech, this would lead to quarrels and fights in the family. If you are stingy, you will not obtain what you seek. And there are actually many more. Okay, like those who set fire to mountains and forests, those who are cruel parents or step-parents, etc. And I remember there was one, those who slander the triple gem. They could end up being deaf, mute, or blind. And that made me wonder if I did that in my past lives because I was born deaf. But it's okay. I'm still wondering. But yeah, I can only share some here because there is actually a lot and I wouldn't want to make this a 1-hour video. So next, how to do good karma and practical ways to start. So actually in Buddhism, right, being born human is extremely rare. It's considered a precious opportunity requiring a lot of past merit. They compare it to like a blind turtle finding a yolk in the ocean because it's the only realm where one can truly practice the Dharma and achieve enlightenment. Unlike, remember I said there were 6 realms, right? So the top 2 gods and demigods, they say these 2 realms can be too blissful, too fortunate. And the lower realms like hungry ghosts, animals, and hell. 3. These have too much suffering and ignorance, so they cannot focus on the Dharma and doing good. So us being born as humans is like the middle line, the balance. So we can choose to do good or to do bad. And while human births are rare, good deeds can lead to repeated human rebirths. But losing this state of being born as a human is easy. It's easy to lose. So don't take it for granted. And doing good, okay, and unlike what many people think, right, doing good doesn't actually require money. You can start with small things like not gossiping, not lying, speak honestly, giving something without expecting something in return. Because intention matters a lot. You can help a beggar, but if you're doing it solely to impress that lady you're on a date with, be compassionate. Don't harm living beings. And this counts for animals, insects, and animals, insects, reptiles, whatever. And yes, that bug in your home matters too. Don't kill it. I've had ants, spiders, cockroaches, mosquitoes, and a lot of flies in my house, but I really try not to kill it. I try to catch it or like get someone to help me catch it and then put it outside of my house. Yeah. Because remember, these living beings are also trying to survive. Every living being counts because they're also trying to survive. Next, let go, detach. Don't cling onto something in the past for too long. Okay, there is this story, right, about 2 monks. So these 2 monks were traveling together when they came to a river. And there was a woman there, and she was unable to cross the river because it was a bit too dangerous. So the senior monk picked her up, carried her across, and then put her down on the other side. And then, they went separate ways. The 2 monks continued walking. Hours later, the junior monk finally spoke and he was upset. He asked the senior monk, brother, we are not allowed to touch a woman. Why did you carry her? And a senior monk told him, I put her down at the river. Why are you still carrying her? So the lesson is that suffering is not always caused by what happens. It's caused by what we keep holding on to. Don't cling onto the past longer than necessary. Most of our pain exists because the mind keeps replaying what the body has already let go of a long time ago. Yeah. Be patient. Wish well for others. Even if you're not rich and you can donate as much as a millionaire, it's okay. As I mentioned earlier, it's the intention that is important. In fact, if you have $2 to your name and you donate that $2 because you genuinely want to help someone without anything in return, versus someone who has like $1 million but he donates that $20,000 because it makes him look good or he wants to write it off as tax, the first person will generate better karma than the second person. And to clarify, if you're rich and you donate $50 because you really want to help, it's fine because it's still good. Because I'm talking about if the person does it to look good in public, but he had no intention to truly help. So there is really a difference. You can be like a millionaire but you donate $1 and you really hope that $1 really helps someone, and it's still good. Remember, doing good is a habit, not a performance. Okay, I think that's the end of this video. I better stop yapping. So I talk more about the mental aspect because the physical one is hard to track. Like if I saved an insect, I wouldn't know what it would get me, right? And honestly, I shouldn't care what it gets me, right? I should save it because I want to help it. Yeah, that should be the purpose. Plus, I think karma works out differently for everyone because we all live and lead very different lives. So what may happen to one person may not happen to you, I think. Okay, but yes, I will link the sutra and another book in the description below. And if you're interested and want to delve deeper into the sutra, please go and read it. Please go and read them. I hope you have learned something today and let me know what you think. And try to do one good thing today, okay? See you next time. Bye.